This is Dylan Waves. He is a student trader. I took a liking to him because he's really consistent with his market cipher TA. He doesn't have his own community, and he doesn't sell courses, and he doesn't shill exchanges. So I sensed a pure heart in this guy. And another thing that won me over that you did, bro, is every time you talk about the yellow oscillator, you always say how it's flopping over, and so like my ears perk up, bro, because you're like saying my name, like because I'm the flopping groper, bro. So I love the way you talk about the yellow oscillator.
Yeah, that's funny. I think I got that from Jason. I think he's the one who first got me saying, the momentum wave is flopping over, the VWAP's flopping over, and
Yeah,
I learned the VWAP strat from your brother. Actually, I was like, I got really interested in paying attention to the VWAP more because of him.
that's awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk about how you got into trading. But what about your background?
Yeah, so I got into Bitcoin, crypto. I was first introduced to that in December of 2022, and I started trading in the spring of 2021. So a couple months later,
Hmm.
and as you can expect, someone just getting into it, I struggled at first greatly. Made a lot of mistakes, learned from my mistakes. Eventually, like a year after I started trading, I decided to take more of like a structured approach to it. Started taking it more seriously, and I sought out some better education tools. I landed on Jason Casper's education tools, stuff that he offers, and yeah, I mean I've been learning from there. I also I have a YouTube channel. I've been doing that for a while. I like posting my analysis on there, mostly Bitcoin analysis because that's what I trade.
Hmm.
But occasionally I'll do ETH and other alts, stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I try to keep it to more like mid to high time frame analysis on my channel. Following market cipher, also reading price action, and yeah, I mean, I'm still learning. I'm still getting better.
Yeah, man,
And, uh,
I love that humble attitude that you have. Like that you like recognize that like you're like on this journey, and that puts you ahead of so many other traders who think they have everything figured out. And the fact that you're practicing with making this content and the consistency of it all, it just the passion just bleeds right through the channel, man. Um, so tell us about your trading style and like your approach. You already kind of mentioned that a little bit. You said you're more of a macro, I guess like a swing trader, or your analysis at least is like a swing trading analysis. You don't really like to get too mixed up in the small time frames.
well, that's like what my YouTube is. I do like I'm actually more of a day trader slash scalper. Like for the most part, I do swing trade, but I'm practicing my strategies, and I like to practice them on the smaller time frames. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I am more of a scalper actually. I like to trade like the low time frame context, the low time frame ranges, but I like it when my trades can play into the higher time frame ideas that I have. Um, you, when I first started trading, I was more of a swing trader, and I kind of found more success with that. I was more consistent with my winning, at least. But um, I'm really putting a lot of focus on trading. Like that's kind of what my ideal like career path is. Like, and I think one of the best ways to do that, especially starting from where I'm at, which is like I don't have a lot of money to trade with, so I kind of have to be more of an active trader. I feel like if I'm gonna actually grow my accounts
Hmm.
within a reasonable period of time.
That's so true, man. That's why a lot of people gravitate towards scalping, not only for that reason, but also just because to get into the lifestyle of a trader, because it's hard to know what kind of trader you are until you've had like 100 trades, right? And so, how do you get 100 trades under your belt as a swing trader? It would take you probably years, whereas a
Hmm.
scalper, you can get a lot of experience very quickly. It's very much like how I play the piano. Like if I'm trying to learn a song, I always try to play the song like as fast as I can. And then when I get it perfectly down at that speed, then I slow it down. And if people come over, like I'll play it at the normal speed, you know? So yeah, it's just like that in trading, man, for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so you had some good things to say about risk management, bro. What do you have to say about risk management?
Yeah, so I actually wrote down some notes this time so I can kind of make it more comprehensible.
Nice.
But I follow very strict risk management rules. That's something that I learned from first Jason was the first person to really hammer that in my head. I risk about 1% of my total trading capital per trade. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, depending on the type of trade and the confidence I have in it. But on general, I don't stray far from 1%. And there's multiple reasons why I do that. Number one is it simplifies one of the decisions that you have to make when trading. So trading is a lot of decision making, and the more clear cut your decision process is, I think the easier it makes it. So I know that I'm going to be risking about 1% per trade. So I don't have to stress about deciding how much I put on my trade. And I enter trades with very clear invalidations as well, which is how I risk the amount that I'm comfortable with. I know where my stop loss is relative to my entry, so I know exactly how much to put on the trade. So
Yeah.
that's
Do
one
you
main
ever
reason.
increase risk in certain scenarios and decrease risk in certain scenarios, or do you always do like a static 1% total loss kind of setup with your trades?
So it depends on the trade setup. Like sometimes I'll start to scale into trades with less than 1%. I'll start to scale in with like 0.5%. But if it's like a higher confidence swing trade, then I'll enter with sometimes 2%, sometimes more than that. But I try not to go too far above that because it seems like when I start taking more risk than I'm used to, that's when even if it's a great looking trade setup, that's when it'll just go against me. So I try to stay away from that. But yeah, my risk depends on the type of trade setup and how confident I am in it.
Yeah, I think that comes with experience too, like in getting more familiar with your edge is like recognizing when, when all those big time frames have your back and like there's just that mode you can get in where you're hyper confident. And at times like that, an experienced trader can make the discretion to risk a little more. And yeah, it's almost like to be great, you do want to deviate from convention. Like any champion will tell you that, like, to be great, you eventually have to step away from what's conventional and take big risks and go places people haven't gone before. And you mentioned scaling in too. Yeah, scaling in and scaling out is a really great thing to do. Scaling in allows you to potentially get a better entry or make it so maybe an inopportune entry that gets like, repainted on or something still has a chance of squeezing out some profits if like that position, would have gotten stopped out or something, but you can just add a little more there because you started with like maybe a third of a percent instead of a full percent. And scaling out's great too, man, because you take profit when things get iffy, you secure profits and you're managing that risk. You're not thinking about the money you're taking off the table. You're thinking about the risk you're unsaddling yourself with. And eventually you can let that last little bit ride. And sometimes you get good gains just letting that last little bit ride and letting the market kick you out.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of little tricks to risk management that matter very greatly in trading that go beyond market cipher. And speaking of market cipher, I think we just got a daily candle, bro. Did you want to screen share and go over like some TA on like the daily time frame for us here?
Yes, I can do that.
Sweet. All right, let's see here. Do a
All
little
right.
pop out.
So let's go to this chart.
All right, I got your screen. Nice. We got the 1 day
All right.
chart. I like your colors. Kind of looks like Jason Casper's colors, but it's like your own style. I like it.
Yeah, I got the blue and purple candles. Um, I got the Frankie candles momentum waves here. I really like the gray ones. I like the color scheme on the money flow. Yeah, I think my chart looks pretty cool. So yeah, I guess for higher time frame analysis, I can kind of go off of what I've been looking at in my past few videos. So I have been mentioning that I think Bitcoin's overextended to the upside. I think a retracement makes sense, just given kind of how aggressively we came up here, the liquidity that we left behind, and now we are starting to see some bearish signs as we got to move up to this area. We ran into the golden pocket. That's a common resistance area. This is the golden pocket from all-time high to the bear market low, so it's a significant level. We also kind of ran into the value area high, depending on the pull of like all the bull market price action, basically. So we're running into some resistance. We saw some more local bearish signs on this high. If I can actually go to the 4 hour, we saw some bearish divs as we got that wick into the golden pocket, and we are seeing the daily time frame kind of start to take a turn to the downside in terms of momentum, in terms of money flow. Something I like to do is just outline the general direction. That's a pretty, solid way to view market Cipher. You just kind of outline the general direction, and on the daily time frame, things are starting to turn to the downside.
Hmm.
So I am kind of more bearish biased right now on the higher time frames, but recently we took out this key low. We took out the I would call this the range low. You can also say it's the daily time frame higher low. We took that out, and I was looking at this as maybe being the next bit of evidence that we might see a deeper retracement. But I'm not exactly sold on the break so far. We didn't see aggressive follow through following the break. Now Bitcoin's pulling back up into this range. And if I go to some of the lower time frames again and clean up this chart, we are seeing that money flow is starting to come back in on some of these midterm time frames. The 4 hour money flow is starting to come back up. So, what this says to me is maybe Bitcoin isn't ready to retrace. Maybe it wants to continue trading within this general range here. But, I overall think that I am still expecting a retracement to the downside, and potentially, this daily momentum wave here, maybe it just ends up kind of continuing this overall trend by putting in another lower high, and yeah, maybe we just continue trading in this range a bit more until ultimately it breaks to the downside. That's kind of my bias. I don't like to look at the charts as like, oh, this looks like it's going to happen, so it's the only thing that
Hmm.
can happen. But I try to look at the most probable scenarios. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of higher time frame stuff.
Yeah, man. In hindsight, Market Cipher tends to not lie. It's easier to see things to the left of the chart and not the right. But yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
these big time frames like this on the daily, like that money flow just bleeding out. That's like water in a garden getting turned off, and like that tends to lead to downward price. So it would suggest that we haven't even seen this. We really have just gotten started. So by this analysis, like you wouldn't recommend that people just like FOMO into Bitcoin and stuff. Like even though you do see like some upward potential on some like medium time frames, you very much are looking at this as like a retracement, like a healthy retracement of like a downtrend that was kicked off by the new year and the ETF news. And I tend to agree, man. Unless the market like regains some structure and says something otherwise. I think that what happened around the ETF with those bear divs and all that stuff isn't fully played out yet. Like you mentioned, that overall curvature, and that's like a really good observation, man. And that's why I love your analysis. Not only is it consistent, but it's stuff that I'm looking at and you're talking about, and I'm agreeing with, bro. And so, we always gotta not let things get to our head, and like, always you know, like no, everything that we do, all the work we put in with our analysis and our trading is just for a chance for things to work out the way we think. And like I just had a scalp trade today that like just didn't play out like the way I imagined. But you got to roll with the punches, man, and it's all about that risk management. And yeah, man, a very sound macro analysis here. I like that line down at 32. Your instinct to like look for a low level to buy in at, to find support at, like to sell high and to buy low. You got all that going for you. And like you strike
Hmm.
me as someone who is you know, like even though you call yourself a student trader, a full-time student trader, there's a lot that I know that you're already ready for. Like you have the consistency and the sharpness to run your own community, and to sell courses and you know, shill for exchanges and all these things. And yet you choose not to do that because I feel like you are like at your heart a cautious and like this is about knowledge for you and building strength and confidence within, and it's all gonna like bubble up at some point and blossom into something beautiful, bro. So I can almost like see your vision for what you're doing with the channel. But tell me, like, what are your goals with the channel, like long term? You know, like in the next 3 years, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So, I guess one of my most short-term goals right now is live streaming. I mean, I just reached 1,000 subs on my channel, so I guess that means I can start live streaming soon. I'd like to do that, but you know, I guess I have to figure out what I'm going to live stream. You know, I could live stream my trades and you know, just kind of show what it's like as a student trader. You know, I'm not going to be the best trader you've ever seen, at least not right now, but yeah, I mean, I can show my wins, show how you know, some of the value that you can get out of how I got those wins. Also, you know, I'll show my losses, show hey, maybe what are some of the lessons that you can learn from those. And yeah, in terms of like, you know, creating educational content, yeah, I feel like, you know, number one, I mean, I personally think I have to be a successful trader and be a successful trader over a certain period of time before I even think about doing that. And another thing is I think I have to really develop my own trading style. Like a lot of what I use right now is stuff that I've learned from other traders, and I kind of do it in my own way. But you know, I think I want a little bit more originality to some of my concepts, stuff like that. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just developing my own trading style is something that I would like to focus on as well. And yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just keep doing YouTube, ideally continue to grow, and you know, really focus on trading as well. I guess those are my goals.
I like that, man. It's those are really realistic goals, and like that's something that you're gonna be tackling just this year, bro. So that's all probably going to be accomplished this year. I can just totally see that like you're in some like trigger wave of your own life, bro. You know. But yeah, like in
Yeah,
three
I like
years from
that.
now, in 3 years from now, I could totally see you just in the stratosphere, man. And I'm gonna be going live soon too. My channel's popped off pretty like organically. I got one big shout out from Jason Casper, which was cool, and I popped up like 250 subs. But I haven't like, you know, like gotten my brother to shill me yet, or like tried to be super try hard with it. But I told my community like if they get me to 1,000 subs, I'll go live, and so maybe we'll have to do some collabs with our lives, bro.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome. And yeah, shout out Jason because you know, he's just such a nice guy. He shouted me out a few times too. You know, he doesn't owe me anything. He's given me so much already, and you know, he didn't have to do that. Just the fact that I was, you know, commenting in his lives and you know, talking to him. He I guess saw one of my videos pop up one day, decided to check it out, and yeah, he's been nothing but supportive. So yeah, shout out him too.
Definitely, man. Shout out to Jason Casper. He so ahead of his time, blending fitness with spirituality and trading. It's those mystical elements like of, you know, lifestyle and psychology and spirituality and all those things that that will ultimately prevent you from like if you don't have those things on lock, then you won't see profits, even if you know indicators extremely well. And so I think that's why trading itself has this kind of mystical element to it, is because the people who get into trading, they figure out the indicators relatively quickly. But then it's the other stuff that takes so long to figure out, like the actual success mindset and like understanding not just momentum on the charts, but like momentum in our own life. And like, yeah, man. And he's at the forefront of lessons like that. Like teaching people, like, can you grow a melon? If you can't grow a melon, you probably can't grow an account. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. One of the last questions I got here is
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, is advice for new people. Let's say that, I'm a student. I'm looking to be a student of Market Cipher and get into trading. I'm watching, subscribing to as many MC YouTubers as I can. What's your advice for those people that are looking to get in and like just dive into the world of MC?
Yeah, so you know, I guess it depends. Like for me, what I really needed was that kind of structured approach to learning. Um, Not just when it comes to MC, but when it comes to everything involved with trading. I think the other things are what I struggled with most. The mindset, the consistency, the discipline, and so I guess I would say, regardless of if you take some courses or what kind of educational content you're paying attention to, I I would say just have realistic expectations and understand that you're probably not going to be good at this right away. I don't think many traders are. It's going to take a long time for you to learn, most likely. You're going to have to, you know, go through some painful losses potentially, or maybe if not like monetary losses, maybe you'll have to go through years of practice without much reward from it
Yeah, like
before
trading
you
on the
are able to
side.
get to that point where you can
Yeah.
actually capitalize from it. So take your time. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, understand that it takes a lot more than just being able to look at a chart and do analysis in order to trade. There's a lot of other skills that go into it, but if you need to read the charts, it can really start to shine, and that's where your ability to do analysis, your ability to come up with trading plans and execute on them. That's where it can really start to prosper. I've learned that from the traders that I've studied, how they've gotten to their point, and that's what I'm trying to replicate.
Brilliant, man. Yeah, that's an excellent point on quelling expectations and recognizing that, like, as traders, when we come into the market or when we first start our journey in trading, we were likely sold the trader's journey because the markets themselves were at a very popular, overhyped, inopportune time. I would say that like 80% of traders get into trading at bad points in the market because that's when the majority of the marketing for getting into trading and like and all the courses are being sold and all that stuff. And so, when I came back from my trading hiatus this, recently, I took that as an indication. Like I almost saw myself as like the groundhog seeing his shadow coming into trading. And like, what does it mean for me to, finally feel comfortable to come back to this? Because I know I'm not alone. There was a wave of traders who came in to tackle the ETF price action and not miss out. And so I definitely have quelled my expectations on my return, and I've been taking it very slow because I'm very experienced at this whole. I've seen so many bull and bear cycles that these moves they don't really sweat it. They don't really sweat me anymore. So yeah, like I would totally agree, man. If you're new and you're getting into this, recognize that you're probably not alone. And this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. 100%. It's a lifestyle. And your first 2 years, like my first 2 years, I had 5 figures in losses, but that was quickly superseded by my best year in trading. So it really depends on the market you're in, the market you're trading, and you really want to make sure that whatever your edge is when you discover it, that you include the market conditions in on that, whatever your edge is. Like, what's your best market condition that you perform the best in? And like, it's good to reduce risk until you're in those conditions, because scalping Ethereum in the 2021 ETH bull run felt so easy to me and so natural, and I was, just basically trading in one direction, doing consultations and just stacking, like stacking sats and pips or whatever you want to call it. And next thing I knew, I had $250,000, and it happens quick. And so that's brilliant advice, Dylan. Quell your expectations, play the 3, 4, 5 year game with trading, build that knowledge, and teach and show the process of your analysis, such as like what you're doing, Dylan, because that builds the consistency and the transparency. And transparency matters a lot in trading. If you can't shine light on your own trading strategy and yourself, then the market will humble you quickly. So yeah, I appreciate you spending the time, man. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
Um, not much. I just want to say thank you for doing this. You saw my channel to do this. And yeah, I appreciate the words of encouragement. It means a lot coming from someone like you, and other traders as well who I study, I look up to, who see potential in me. It's really reassuring. So yeah, thank you again.
No problem, Dylan. We'll be in close contact, man. And I'll be posting this to the MC YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to Dylan Waves, follow him on Twitter, and support his trading journey. And I'm definitely going to have him on my channel as well soon. So thank you very much, Dylan. God bless you, bro. And you have a great rest of the week, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. And God bless you too. You have a great week as well.